Hey out there, Slot Car Land. How's everybody doing today? I am hosting a video today, per Dad's permission. We are rebuilding my Tyco car today. I know you guys saw him go through his build and all that, but I am basically completely rebuilding my car and doing a lot of experiment with it too. I just got a parts order in from Viper. I've got 3 different tensions of motor brush springs. I've got 2 different tensions of pickup shoe springs that I can also play with as well, but we're going to go with stock tensions and see what they do. And then I bought motor brushes, pickup shoes. Those are just extra parts for me to use. Everybody, you know what that's like. I bought a brand new armature, brand new motor magnets, and 2 different traction magnets that we are going to see if they will be legal for me to run or not. They are Viper's Pro 8 and Pro 10 traction magnets. I didn't know what it means. They were cheap. I wanted to buy them. And I did. So we'll open these up and start with figuring out whether or not I will get yelled at for running these. And my guess is that, yes, they will be far too strong. So these are the Pro 8 magnets. You can already tell they have a bit of color difference. And they feel stronger right off the bat than the stock ones. So we'll throw, turn it on. Zero it out. So the Pro 8 traction magnets, this one is pulling 18.7 grams of downforce. And this one is pulling 19 grams of downforce. For reference, the stock magnets that are in my car currently only pull 16 grams of downforce together on the car. So these magnets are clearly way too strong to run, not a stock spec magnet. So for reference here, we'll throw my car on and see that, yeah, oh, well, hang on. We'll do this. 16.4 together, stock. So the Pro 8s won't be legal, and being a higher number, I imagine that the Pro 10s won't be legal either, but we'll throw them on just for shits and giggles so we can see what they're like. If I can get them open. So, individually, I hope you can see the downforce meter there. That one is pulling 21.2. And that one is pulling 20.5. So together they'd pull about 40 grams of downforce. And as we looked before, my current car only pulls 16 stock. So I will not be able to use these for Jim's Tyco 440 X2 race, which is what we're preparing this car for in this video, which is unfortunate, but I don't see it as a big loss because I'm sure one day I will come across a race, or we will do a class here where I will be able to use those traction magnets in this car. And, one day I might just throw them in and run them just to have some fun. So, let's go ahead and put this away because we're no longer need it, and let's get started with taking this car apart. So we're going to take off the pickup shoes, and I'm going to set those aside as best I can. This is for a T-Jet. This is the inline armature pad, but I'm going to use both of them. I like this open area to place the chassis on this one, whereas this one doesn't have it. So I'm sure most of you know how you get the guts out of these cars. You spread and you pop them. There, I'm going to remove rear axle as well. Get that out of the way. Pickup shoes are out, so now we spread as gently as possible. There we go, she's out. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and leave the traction magnets in the chassis. That's right, they don't want to stay in the chassis. But they are not side specific because these two pull just about the same amount. So I'm going to set these off to the side over here.
What the hell? Well, that's... What the shit? I put batteries in this, I swear.
Take off
What the hell?
the old pickup shoe springs, which we are not going to be using the singles this time. I am going to be using the pickup shoe springs that I bought, but we are going to keep track of these. We'll get to those once I get to installing them. Place those in there. I don't know how you guys like to run and work on your cars, but I always like to run it the way front facing you to keep track of which side things go on, because I'm not good at just automatically knowing where these parts go. So I always run it as the front of the car facing me when I take my stuff apart. So remove yeah, hang on. I messed up just a slight bit. I'm gonna go need to get a pair of those pliers. I'll be right back. Remove the bulkheads. To remove the front bulkhead, we're gonna need to remove the brush barrel, which we are going to give a very solid cleaning today. You probably saw the old brushes pop out there. I will not be reusing these brushes as I bought brand new ones. That was good. I'm going to keep these in case of, you know, if I ever need to use them for anything else, because that is just how I run. So, pre-shims on the motor. I did not do these. They may have been done at factory or may have been done by the person I bought this from. I bought this car brand new off of eBay. I'll put the front bulkhead after I remove it there. Put the rear bulkhead here. And that is the motor out, which I am also replacing. I bought a brand new factory timed 6 ohm Tyco armature from Viper. I'm going to be using this armature. We will see if it is faster or slower than the one that was already in the car. Like I said, there will be a lot of interchanging on this video to see where the car is happiest, because I am looking to get absolutely everything out of this car that I can. So I'm going to set that aside right there for now. I'm going to remove the other brush barrel. I'll place it there. Oh, come on. Pull the other brush barrel. Yeah, look at all that dirt in there. A lot of dirt, lot to clean out. Good thing we have some electrical contact cleaner. It's really good for cleaning out the dirt in these, and it doesn't leave a residue behind like carb cleaner or brake clean does. I use those as reference just because I am a mechanic. But it doesn't leave any residue behind, so it doesn't impede electrical contact or flow. But it does a really good job at blowing the dirt out of things. So I'm going to be using those to clean out the brush barrels before I install the new springs, which we're going to go ahead and start with the highest tension springs that I got and go down from there. Record what works best and stick with what works best in the car. What the car is happiest with, if that makes sense. So said, the front bulkhead there. Though it does not fit, but that's fine. We'll leave that be. So, I'm going to start by pulling the new armature out. Get a look at the shiny new armature. Brand new, never used, not once. New old stock parts, so it's built to stock specifications, but with new materials that have never been run before. So the chances of it being faster are probably pretty good. And we're going to pull the motor magnets out as well. And I lied when I said that we are going to put the downforce meter away, not use it again, because we are going to go ahead and use it to compare these motor magnets. Alright, so 3.6 on the right side one for the old, 3.3, let it zero out, 3.6 for the new one. Let's flip it face down. 10.2 on the new one, face down there. 10.9 on the old one, face down. So far, the old ones are looking better. Like I said, we might just throw both of them in there and see what the armature's happy with. This is the old left side one. 4.7 going that way. 3.7. 3.7. 4.8. 11 grams face down for the new one. 8.3 face down for the old one. So we may just do some inner swapping here.
But don't go too deep. It's real soft. And keep checking it.
And run one old magnet with one new magnet. I believe that is what we're going to do, and we will see how that turns out. So now that we've got that figured out, I'm going to put the new left side magnet over here for use. This is the new right side magnet and old left side magnet. I am going to keep them separated for my own conscience. So I'm going to set that there, set it aside. I'm going to leave this one out up front here where I can see it. To do with this is I'm going to take the motor and I am going to get my shims set. Now this, the new Tyco 6 ohm arm, came with some shims in it already, and we will install it in the bulkheads with the magnets in it to see what those are like, if I can get this to work for me here. This is being done without the brush barrels and brushes in it. Alright. So there is a fair amount of movement inside of there. But I do have shims on the old motor that I can use to add, and then my dad has parts, he has shims, I'm sure he'll let me use them. I'm sure there will be no issue there. But yeah, you can see a fair bit of movement in that motor, which will cause a vibration, and the car will be a little upset. And we don't want that. We want as little vibration as possible in this car.
This shit really works.
That principle goes the same all around for all of our cars. So we are going to... Ah, that's not a shim. Gotcha. We will take the shims that are currently on this other car, clean them up, and install them. Those are the front ones. There is one on the back here. We will see if we can get it off, although that looks like it might be a little difficult. There we go. Got it. Alright. So now we will go ahead. Looks like we've got too much in there now. The bulkheads are bouncing off of one another, so there's too many shims in there. So it appears as if that white one I was trying to take off earlier was a shim on it. It wasn't factory part of the motor, because this one doesn't have one on it. So we will go ahead and see if we can remove that and put just the shims in it. Very interesting how different these motors are. You can see some shimming work done on the back of this motor. This is the new Tyco 6 ohm arm. On the back of that one, that was not on this one. They just had a very small clear shim, this here, on the back of that old armature, which I threw on this one after there is already what looks like a shim in there. So we're going to leave those in there and remove one of the front ones and see what we get with that. Okay, that is one removed. Let's retry. Alright, so the bulkheads are not bouncing off of each other this time. And it looks like there is no or very, very little movement. I can feel a very slight bit of movement in that armature there. So, let's take and make sure that it spins over well. Feels like there's very little resistance in it, but there is no, very, very little side-to-side movement in that arm. Which a little tiny bit is okay because it will heat up and expand, and so will the plastic, so you don't want it to bind once it heats up. So we're going to run with that and see how it runs on the dyno once we have it together and are done. So we'll take it back apart, put our parts in individual spots if the magnets will stop sticking together. And place the armature right there, and we will call that set up. Now we are going to take and clean out, I should say, our brush barrels, because these suckers are pretty darn bad. I hope you can see that in there. Just looks like a black void. And there is a brush spring in this one that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get out before spraying. There it goes. I got it. Alright. We'll place the old brush spring there and leave it be. Those are sure to be completely stock Tyco brush springs. I don't know the tension, and unfortunately I don't have a way to find the tension on those, so we will just start by working with what I have over here, go from there and see what those are like. So I will be right back after spraying these out and we can see the after, as you have seen them before. If I was wrong, there's just 2 in there. Let's make sure that I have 2 more in my pack here, because I did order 2 pairs. 1, 2. Alright, good. So we're going to toss these guys back in here. I have extra pairs in case of more cars, or in case one pair happens to crack, which is unfortunate and sad that it happens, but it doesn't happen too often. So, I may be wrong.
Yeah, but once you get into the chassis, it's gonna be. This is gonna make it. It's gonna be a little wider than that when you get into the chassis, where it falls into its holders. But
no, tension has to be it. Because these are 6,000ths, but they are bigger than these. So for a second, I was thinking that it was width, but that's not possible because this is an 8,000ths brush spring, and this is a 6,000ths brush spring, and this one is clearly bigger in diameter, so it is tension. So we will start with the 8,000ths. Those are in. So I have never done this before. You might have your own tricks, and if you don't have your own tricks, I am going to give you my trick. I'm going to install the motor into the bulkhead. I'm sure this is how it's done regardless. Take a set of new motor brushes out. Okay. I'm back and I have cleaned out the brush barrels. You can see it looks a little bit better. I don't know how well the camera is catching that. I hope it's better, but to my naked eye, I can actually see brass color inside, which is what I was looking for. Blew out all that dirt. I did not wear gloves. I do not recommend doing that. Do not put any sort of cleaning chemical on your bare skin. It's not a good idea. So don't be like me. Wear gloves at home, kids. So I've got the brush barrels figured out, and we're going to start with the 8,000ths tensioned brush springs. I've got 8, 7, and 6,000ths tension. We're going to play with all 3, so this is going to be a very meticulous process. But I believe installing Tyco brushes and brush springs is far easier than most others. There's 3 of them stuck together right here, so this may take a moment to get these guys separated, so give me just a bit here. Alright, what I'm going to do is take the motor brush, put the concave side facing the motor commutator plate, install it in the brush barrel, and then install the brush barrel into the bulkhead. Press it in. That's one side done. You can see the motor's cockeyed, which means it's push. The motor brush is pushing on it. Install the other one.
That makes no sense.
And push it into the bulkhead. Make sure they are centered with the concave side concaving on the commutator plate. That's what we want for proper connection. More surface area means more electrical flow and less resistance, which is what we want. So, now that that's done, we can take and install our motor magnets. Install our rear bulkhead. Set that there. Now, in my opinion, this is the absolute most difficult part, is installing your bulkhead and motor assembly into your chassis, apparently. One more thing that I almost forgot is the new pickup shoe springs. Now, most everybody, I believe everybody, is running a single spring pickup shoe. Or single pickup shoe spring. Sorry, that was backwards. I found these on Viper's site. They are a double pickup shoe spring, squared on the back, 2 tines pushing down on the pickup shoe spring, or the pickup shoe. I like this idea very much because with just your one pickup shoe spring, your one spring on one shoe, you could put 2 springs of the singles, but that'd be harder to deal with not being connected. With this, you have the spring pushing down on one side of the pickup shoe, which might cause an imbalance, in my opinion, of the shoe riding on the rail. Riding this way or riding this way, depending on what side you have it on. This way, you have active push on both sides of the shoe, and you have a uniform push on the shoe, which is, in theory, will give you better balance, if you will, on your shoe. So I have a 10 thousandths and a 9 thousandths set. We're going to start with the 10 thousandths. It's by far the most difficult part of this process. Alright. First attempt. Absolute failure.
Oh, I got pissed trying to put the motor back in the chassis. No.
By far the most difficult part of these cars. I struggled with the Super G that I was working on the other day. Alright, so I have it started, but it is definitely not the greatest start. These double pickup shoe springs are a bit more difficult to deal with, as they, the second spring does not sit on the brush barrel absolutely perfect. It is off just a bit. Okay, we've got that lined up. We are a little bit cut. Aha! Alright. We are in business, my friends. Alright, so you can see here I messed up one of the tines on the shoe springs, but that can be fixed. Aha. It looks as if this spring loop did not get on the brush barrel. Alright, so they are square. Our bulkheads, motor, and assembly is in the back in the car now, nice and uniformly and tight. The motor or the traction magnets are in it. Now, the rest of this is relatively easy. I'm going to install our pinion gear, install our rear axle. 100% perfect. We're going to see if we can get it fixed here. There we go. Perfect. With a little bit of pull, we went ahead and we fixed that problem. Alright, so looks like a problem I'm having right now is the end of the pinion is pushing on the axle. So we're getting a lot of tension there, which is something we don't want, because it will burn up the car, burn up the motor. We don't want that. We want an ultimately nice low tension on everything. So I am going to go hunt for a new pinion, and I will be right back.